Hey guys, this is TheEnder bringing you the round of 8 from the Sonic All-Stars tournament. So as you saw, this is Eyewater White versus Choigun, or as you probably prefer to hear it, Shuttle the Protoss versus Mong the Terran. So we completed the group stage, the round of 16. We are on now the round of 8. Each one of these series are going to be best of 5s. You need 3 wins to advance, and it's elimination. So one of these players is going to go home, and the other moves on to the semifinals. So in the bottom left position, as the Terran, let's call that the 8 o'clock position, we have Mong, and in the upper right, let's call it the 1 o'clock position, got your yellow Protoss, Shuttle. So, of course, both these players doing pretty well in the tournament so far. Already made it here, round of 8. Got a good chance of making it to the top 3. So I saw the prize pool. The prize pool for this tournament is between 1 and 3 million won, depending on the position, first through third. I haven't checked the conversion rate, but to me that sounds like a lot of cash. Chances are it's really not that much, but it's great. Got a good tournament, prize pool, and maybe with the continued success of the semi-professional scene, we'll get greater sponsors. Alright, so Mong has started out with a pretty normal timing for his barracks, and he's placing it right next to his command center. So it's pretty much just for anti-zealot harassment. Marines are a smaller unit size than Zealot, not by much, but they're just barely smaller, so they can actually run between the barracks and the command center, and it provides you a big micro advantage if your base gets attacked by early Zealots. You run your Marines through that, and the Zealots can't follow, and then you can do the little micro around. They try to go around, you run to the other side, you keep firing. But it's a nice little bit of protection. Of course, it means he's not going to have that as close to the front of his base as possible, so he'll eventually have to move it so that he can block things from running through. But for right now, it's a nice little defensive posture. As you can tell, we are on the map Fighting Spirit. Everyone likes the map, very standard, and it's considered to be very, very balanced. So as they are cross-map, there is a slight advantage for Shuttle. Of course, since Protoss expands faster than Terran, the farther away from your opponent you are, the more chance you have to expand in mine before you get attacked. So once again, slight advantage to Shuttle. But it's a standard map. It's not that big of a deal. If Mong's going to win, Mong is probably still going to win. And I'm just throwing that out randomly. I don't know who's going to win. And since it's a best of 5, one win is not going to throw you over. But we'll see. So we've got a very standard opening from Shuttle as well. We've got the goon range going. If the SCV goes down real quick and the core stops spinning, maybe it actually isn't goon range, that it's just a fake out, but we won't know for sure. Mong is going with a very standard bunker to guard his expansion. He's already gone for his factory though behind it, so it's not as fast of an expansion as you would normally see. And with how far the Marines are pushing the probe out, this might be some kind of a fake. Mong might just try and be keeping the probe from seeing that there's a command center, even though there's not a command center. So we'll have to see what happens here. Alright, so the barracks has been moved to the front, so the goons can't run by it. Alright, the goon does run in, though. He sees the command center, and he runs out. So, mission accomplished, everyone goes home alive. And we've got a fast vulture on the other side of the map, and it's actually going to get into the main. That usually doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. And the reason why this is bad is vultures are just so annoyingly fast. Even without the speed upgrade, it'll take a while for that goon to catch it. However, the probes are going to block? Oh no, it doesn't get around. So that one vulture, he's got like 3 kills. He might get another. Oh, nope, guess not. But still, 3 kills on the Vulture. Vultures only cost 75 minerals. 3 probes is 150. Plus, you can only make a certain amount of probes at a time. So that was a really nice pickup for Mong there. First tank is out, and Nexus is down. Command center, even though it was slightly later of a command center since he went for the factory first to rush out that vulture, it's still much faster than the Protoss Nexus. So we've seen Shuttle go ahead and get his robotics facility. Probably gonna make some shuttles. Terrible joke. But you know, he is suggesting some kind of faster aggression, even if it is just for observers. You know, you get your observers out, and then the mines don't mean as much. So the Dragoon is taking some hull damage. They're gonna pull back now with the shield regen. If I recall, there was only 3 Marines in that bunker, which usually you actually do get the full 4 just to make it as costly as possible for those Dragoons that when they want to dart in and snipe the tanks. But alright, so comsats are going down, mines have been planted, so pretty much Mong is going to be safe against DTs, even though we've seen it's probably not going to be DTs. We saw the observatory, so it may or may not be for a Reaver, but the Robo facility and the Observer Tech is out for Shuttle. So those vultures are giving Mong some really nice map control and vision. It's going to be really hard for Shuttle to push out and not be scouted, or to run into a mine just accidentally. Which, I mean, that's the intention of these vultures. You know, you don't want the Protoss to move freely. However, it's slightly surprising. Shuttle hasn't actually started making the pylon wall at the natural. Usually you throw down, we'll say, 2 or 3 pylons and maybe 1 other building. So that takes fewer Dragoons to block the entrance, so vultures can't sneak in once you move out with your army. That's slightly surprising. Usually it's there by now. Okay, and there's a fast Citadel. So perhaps this is a fast Arbiter build? 2-base Arbiter? Mong on the other side, he's just, you know, being a happy Terran. You know, playing super safe, got some turrets coming up. Interesting one next to his factories. Maybe he doesn't want the Observer to fly in. He's already got one in next to the command center. Does he expect to... Alright, so based on the positioning, if you have turrets on the interior part of your base, that means you expect a DT. Whereas if you have them on the exterior of your base, it means you expect a Reaver. And that's just because, you know, if you have interior turrets, you know, a Reaver will be able to land on the exterior, you know, very close to the outside, and be able to shoot the turrets, and you can pick the Reaver back up and then fly in. So you need the exterior turrets, but if it's a DT, you want to have it close to, you know, your main, so that, you know, because DTs aren't ranged, you know, they have to come in all the way to kill the turret, and then you just keep a single tank next to that turret, and you're completely fine and safe against DTs. But we'll see. So we've got a fast science facility, which I guess is intended to counter this 2-base Arbiter. And we did see the beginnings of the pylon wall at the natural. Okay, becoming more of a standard game. Very few vultures out on the map. Looks pretty tank heavy, but if he's got the gas for the tanks and do the vessels, why not go for it? Yeah. First Arbiter on the way. Of course, Arbiters are really, really powerful casters, and if you have them early enough, you might not even have to go for the stasis first. You might even be able to go for recall first. Really punish Terrans. Several observers on the map. It's at least 3 of them. Okay, so we have a shuttle ferrying some units out for the Terran. Usually you see siege tanks in the dropships like that, and that's primarily because, you know, the vultures already have pretty decent ability to run around the map, and they can team up with that shuttle wherever it decides to drop the tanks. Alright, so we're seeing Zealots here from Shuttle, and the reason this is important is usually Protoss don't go for Zealots until they intend to attack. And the point is, you can't micro Zealots. So it's possible it's just because he spent all his gas getting this, expensive Arbiter tech out, but it's also, like I said, decently likely that he's thinking about attacking. Alright, so it is a Vulture drop. That's... So we saw 2 Vultures. Don't know what the other unit is. Alright, so it's a tank. And he snipes the probe, making the 3rd, and then flies away. But we saw before, there's plenty of observers out, so no damage being done for Mong. Mine clearing force from Shuttle. A couple of goons with the observer. Alright, so we have another combined dropship and vulture force. Same one as before, only taking 1 goon shot on the shuttle. And so we got a tank and 5 or so vultures just going around. And yeah, we see a lot of zealots. That has got to be... He's gearing up for an attack. Yeah, so sooner or later it's going to happen. Oh no, this is going to be super annoying. So yeah, it's only 1 tank, but with all those vultures laying mines, there's really not going to be much of a cost-effective way to break this. Alright, that was good. A single zealot took out 6 mines. Alright, and with the distraction, more vultures into the main, dropping mines. Alright, this is a pretty nice combo attack for Mong. Of course, vultures are pretty weak. They've only got 80 HP. Probes can even beat them. So we do see +1 attack for Mong, and no attack upgrades for Shuttle yet. I mean, he's only on 2 bases, so he doesn't have a ton of free resources to invest in things like upgrades. 3rd base has completed, but it's really late. I mean, we got 2 arbiters out already. Pretty decent group of tanks, grouped up at the natural. So we saw the science facility, but I haven't seen a vessel yet. And we have another drop harassment. But since the 3rd base is done, Shuttle's just going to transfer his probes to 3rd base, and so tank only gets 4 kills. Oh, but more drops, man! But probes are transferred away again. And while they transferred away, they were cloaked thanks to the arbiters. So, oh, what in the world? That is... That science vessel is really far from home. He was going for an EMP on the arbiters. Which is not a bad idea, actually. I mean, he's got turrets back with his army at home. So he's just like, hey, yeah, I'll find that high-energy Arbiter, and I'll throw an EMP on him. I don't actually think it hit. The Arbiters split and dodged pretty darn well. But, uh-oh, there's mines, Oh, very nice target firing. That was very, very nice target firing by Shuttle. Uh-oh, but we look at the 3rd base. The probes, not only are they not mining, okay, now they're starting to mine, but they were in a really, really bad spot where the tanks were going to be in range. Whoop, whoop, oh, that's just sad. Shuttle has this really nice army, and so he decides that the best thing to do with this really nice army is to run it through mines in the center. And he doesn't actually have too many goons. We saw before he went pretty zealot heavy. So with that loss of about 5 goons just due to mines, he's not going to have many at all. We've got a pretty nice tank spread from Mong. I think I just saw another EMP go down on the zealots. And we saw a stasis go down on some of the back tanks. It does look like Shuttle's going to clean this army up. There just wasn't enough stuff for Mong. Now, as far as who's in the better spot, well, the 3rd base went down, so yeah, that's still pretty nice. And we've got this hidden base up for Mong in the upper left, at the 1 o'clock position, or not 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock position. So if that doesn't get scouted, he'll actually be a base up on Shuttle. And what? Oh, I was gonna say, where's the army? Got half a dozen or so vultures just walking into Shuttle's natural. Luckily, the reinforcements came from the gateways. Yeah, so Shuttle knows something's up. He's checking out Mong's third base, and he's like, yeah, why is there nothing here? So it looks like he's going to the top left next with that observer, and pretty soon he's going to see it. So, of course, how did that many... it's possible the dropship actually dropped those SCVs there, so that Shuttle didn't see them. But yeah, it's going to be really, really hard to defend that top left position. I mean, there's no way for him to defend it. I mean, there's no wall, no units, no mines. That was running completely on stealth to survive. But with the army heading to the top left, Mong is going to take this opportunity to push again, which is really a good idea since, I mean, like we said, he really can't defend it. I mean, of course Shuttle wants to kill it as soon as possible, but really all he really needs to send is, 2 zealots and a single goon, or, something small like that, and he can force all the SCVs to run into the command center to lift and run away. So third base is cancelled again for Shuttle, but Mong is getting close to mining out on his natural. So chances are, since that command center lifted off and there was only a dragoon or 2 firing on it, it'll live. So in that regard, Mong is still ahead. He just needs to find a safe place to land it so he can mine. But the longer the game goes on, and he's taking the 6 o'clock position as well. But the longer the game goes on, the fact that there's those arbiters and that they're going to have, significantly more energy just due to the time, that could be problematic. We'll have to see if Mong has placed some anti-arbiter defenses, such as laying extra mines down in his main around his factories. Because otherwise he could be in a significant bit of trouble if he does get recalled on. He doesn't have the reinforcements to... That is a lot of vultures. Alright, EMP on the Arbiter. So one thing both these players have done pretty well is keep their expensive spellcasters alive. So you can see there's 4 Arbiters out, which is 5 Arbiters out, which is a surprisingly high number. What is he doing? His armies are on the hold position. Oh man, you don't want to do that. Leave your army on hold position when there's a Terran attacking. But he's just got so many Arbiters, man. He can literally stasis the entire army. And he's going to do that. Alright, so one thing you'll notice is that not all the army is stasis, even though he's probably got additional energy. And so what's going on here is, when you stasis a Terran army, the idea is to stasis one segment, wait a second or 2, stasis the next segment, wait a second or 2, stasis the next segment. And the reason you want to do that is you don't want them all coming out of the stasis at the same time. And so that's what he's doing here. He's giving himself, okay, I won the battle, I'm going to camp out my entire army right on top of those tanks. And then the second the stasis comes undone, I snipe that first segment of tanks, whether it's 4 or 5. And then at a few seconds later, the next segment comes undone, and then I kill them. Unfortunately here, Shuttle actually didn't have enough of his army left at the end of the battle. I mean, he won it pretty convincingly, but then a big swarm of vultures came in and just threw down a bunch of defensive mines, and so the zealot reinforcements, fought them, and so the problem was Mong was actually able to survive with all those tanks that got stasised. So the battle didn't come out quite as well as Shuttle would have hoped. Now, one thing Shuttle does have going for him is I don't know if he recalled or if he just ran through or around, but the 6 o'clock base, which was essentially going to be the third base for Mong, did go down, and it wasn't just, lifted. This one was actually destroyed. So there should be an additional CC at the top No? What happened to the one he floated? Well, his initial attempt at a third base in the upper left, I thought that one survived. Apparently not. Ooh, so this is a nice army. All those tanks from before got saved. I mean, I'd like to see him, remake some of those vultures because of how cheap they are and how much you really need them as supporting units. But Mong's got a. This could be his last army, though. That's the scary part because he's nearly mined out in his natural, he's mined out in his main. We saw before. See no minerals, just another CC. So he could lift off his current main command center and try to use that to mine. But of course the problem with that when you're facing this many arbiters is you really need the opportunity for mobile detection, and if you lose those vessels then you're in a really bad spot. You won't be able to see your enemy army. So you don't see Archons too much in Protoss versus Terran, and that's for a couple of reasons. One reason is the EMPs just completely obliterate the Archons. Two is Vultures do full 20 damage shots to Archons, because they're primarily shield, and Vultures do full damage to shield. But we are seeing them, and one of the cool things about Archons is they don't actually trigger mines, so they can be pretty good at diffusing spider mines. Plus, of course, since gas doesn't quite really run out in StarCraft 1 like it does in StarCraft 2, they can be nice. But that being said, it looks like Mong's got a significantly larger army than Shuttle, and with neither of them getting a third base. Did the 12 o'clock go down? I thought the 12 o'clock was going to go down, but it looks like there's still a square in the middle. But yeah, it looks like Mong is in the better position. Oh, that's so sad. A single siege tank just shelling away at the probes. And I mean, that siege tank only has like 20 HP. Those probes could totally take him out. And maybe they did. The other funny thing we saw was the number of Goliaths. So since Shuttle has like, I think he lost some, but maybe he has like 3 or 4 arbiters left. So they're actually becoming a decent military unit compared to the small army size he has. So Mong is having to counter by getting some Goliaths. So Mong is making one sort of interesting tactical decision in that he's trying to take both the 9 o'clock and the 6 o'clock bases. And so he made a new command center, and he floated that to the 9 o'clock. He lifted up his natural, and he floated that to the 6 o'clock. And he's got his army waffling in between, literally, running back and forth between the two. And that's just a really silly, in my opinion, decision. I really think he should either push with it or just guard the one base. Because yes, he is going to mine a whole lot faster than the Protoss, but I mean the Protoss doesn't even have a single mining base. I mean he's distance mining from the 3 o'clock. And of course Mong doesn't have perfect scouting information, but the whole point is Terran armies are just so much weaker when they're moving like this. It looks like it doesn't matter, because Shuttle just has nothing. I mean, he got some EMPs down, and all of a sudden the Archons are nearly dead. The Arbiters can't cast their spells. Half of Mong's army is in stasis, and he's still got enough to win the fight. Oh, but he needs a scan. Oh. Where are the vessels? Where are the vessels? Oh man, with that. Oh, is this really gonna happen? That's almost crazy. So it looks like one of the reasons why that engagement didn't go very well was that the Protoss army was targeting down the science vessels, and with those 2 science vessels gone, Mong has to use scans because he doesn't have detection. And now that those goons are on the high ground, yeah, he just can't assault that. He has to fly away, and he's going to lose that command center, and he does not have command centers to lose. So he does have 3 attack, and that's always nice to have as a Terran. But yeah, he lost that base. I really think he should have just stuck to the one base and, been happy with it. But alright, since the Protoss has nothing, he's just going to counterattack and kill all the probes. Which, once again, that's perfect use for vultures. They're fast, they do good damage against shield and light units. So he can take that Nexus down to half health really quickly. Probably won't be able to kill it though, because 2 goons could clean up those 4 vultures. But man, he is just not defending his bases. What is up with this? I mean, harassment is good and all, but you gotta defend at some point. So I'm not sure what Shuttle's doing with this army. Maybe he thinks it's some kind of a trap. But he's not mining anywhere. He's got an army that could take out the force harassing his 3 o'clock, but it looks like it's going to be too late. I mean, that's... Okay, so he's... like I said, he thinks it's a trap, and so he's going to lose everything he has as far as economy. So that was weird. So once again, I'm going to say, it looks like Mong firmly has this game, but he's not ready to throw it in for the kill yet. And since he still has an army, Shuttle doesn't feel like giving up either. Alright, here it is. He's going to attack the 9 o'clock position, and if he wins this fight... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, if he wins this fight, he can dream, but he just gets instantly annihilated. You know, EMP lands on his Archon, and his Archon was, you know, a third of his army. Oh well. Alright, GG. Mong wins. Game 1 goes to the Terran, and we will move on to the next game. See you then.